Today I want to talk about there's some crinkling in the background because my cat loves her plastic. Today I want to talk about banana. Oh my gosh. Today I want to talk about, I'm just going to leave this all in. If you want to hear it, you'll hear it. I'm going to move the crinkling though. Okay. Today I want to talk about the biggest, most consistent indicator that I am able to tap into, tune into again and again. That is proof for me that I have made significant progress in healing my people pleasing. And in this video, I am going to talk about who I was and my fears and things before, and who I am now, and how those two things differ. And just a quick visual description: I'm wearing a purple shirt, white lettering, and I have a plastic bag on my head because I impulsively decided to dye my hair today. And there's a gray couch behind me and a white wall with a little patch. And this beauty here is Banana. So what I will be talking about in this video is my relationship to no, N-O. And in terms of, that's including in terms of like boundaries, in terms of saying no to someone else, as well as in terms of being or feeling rejected, in terms of someone else saying no to me. Because when I was deep in my people-pleasing, when I was like deep in my people-pleasing, I was masking, and I was hiding, and I was trying to be perfect, and I was afraid to rock the boat. I was afraid to upset other people. I used to be deeply, deeply afraid of confrontation, of being afraid that there was something that I could say or do that would cause other people to not love me. I learned that the love that was supposed to be unconditional was a very conditional love, and that incredibly hurt. And that caused me to shrink myself. That caused me to hide who I truly was. That caused me to try and be everything for everyone else and not say no and not rock the boat. It caused me to prioritize other people's happiness and other people's needs over my own, because I didn't feel like I was safe to say no. I didn't feel like I could say no and be loved, right? And so that's where I was for many years, to the point, to the extreme, where it was like I really shut down a lot of my own emotional experiences, because expressing boundaries, I learned that my boundaries didn't matter. It repeated traumas from different people. And I learned that who I was, what brought me joy, what caused me pain, people didn't want to hear about it, because that meant, in some cases, holding them accountable. That meant, in other cases, asking them for help to step up for me in ways that made them uncomfortable. And so for so many years, in so many ways, I just internalized that I could not be me, that I could not say what I truly felt, what I truly thought about things. I learned that it was safer to not be seen. I learned that it was safer to not take up space or to minimize. And take up as little space as I possibly could. And my family is home now. Yep, I'm gonna stop this video right now. I'll come back to it. The irony of me getting interrupted while talking about that video, while talking about what I'm talking about in the beginning of this video, and deciding to stop recording is not lost on me. I do see the irony of that, and I find it very amusing. However, I also don't think that stopping just now was people-pleasing. It was knowing my family's patterns and knowing that they like to talk about whatever they just experienced when they got home. And that was not going to be a conducive environment for me continuing this video. So, new background, black sheets, purple, white, and gray pillow underneath me, still purple t-shirt, white letters, and plastic bag on my head. And hopefully you can hear me over my fan. So, anyways, when I was deep in my people-pleasing, when I was deep in those wounds and in that fear, my relationship to the word or the idea or the various forms of no, including setting boundaries and including being rejected and any other form of no, was I was very afraid of it. I just lost my train of thought because I'm trying to make my phone not drop on me. But I was very afraid of it. Let's set up. Okay. Headphones and purple wall and stuffed animals and stocking behind me. So when I was deep in my people-pleasing, I was very afraid of setting boundaries or enforcing boundaries. I was very afraid of being rejected. I was very afraid of rejecting others. And I was a shell of myself. I was not... Hold on. Come on, Lefty. I'm drinking water from a blue water bottle with a laptop. I don't know why I closed that. I'm going to need water again. But anyways, I was very much a shell of myself. And that hurt in a lot of ways, but that is so incredibly different from who I am now. You're just going to see lots of camera angles because I can't quite figure out how to sit comfortably right now. But who I am right now, my relationship with the word no, with the idea of no, is very different. Like, I love setting boundaries. I love when other people set boundaries with me. And you may think that that's, like, that I'm just saying that. But I genuinely mean it. And, okay, so I just got the idea to share a story that recently happened in my life. Come on, Lefty. I was going on a trip to a different state, to a different area, that I did not have a car, I did not have any mode of transportation, and with being physically disabled, and with living where I have lived for so long, I was not really expecting to be able to take an Uber, for example, and, you know, so I reached out to a friend of mine that I know lives in the area that I was traveling to, or like near the area that I was traveling to. And I asked her for help. I was like, hey, I'm going to be here during these days, and like, I'm so self-conscious during this video. I think that's part of why I keep fidgeting. And it's hot. But so anyway, I let her know, it's like, hey, I'm going to be here during these days, and I'm going to need a ride during this time. Will you be able to do that for me? And she messaged me back, and she was like, thank you so much for this message. I really want to say yes, but I'm also in the middle of moving right now, and I can't guarantee that I can do that, and I feel a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit lost. And she was nervous that I was going to respond to her saying no poorly, because she's experienced other people responding poorly to saying no. And that's really close. My genuine response to this was, okay, I hear you. Thank you so much for trusting me enough to be honest with me that you are not a yes at this time, and that you have other things going on that your focus is on. And I was basically just like, thank you for honoring yourself. I am no longer asking you for help. I hear your no. I respect your no. And I respect our relationship enough that I don't want to put pressure on you to change your answer to a yes, because I don't want room for resentment in our relationship. And so I hear and respect that you are saying no, and that is your genuine response, and that's fine. And that was it. And the trip was fine. I was able to make it work on public transportation, which is a whole different video that I could do about the culture shock that I experienced of being on public transit that was actually disability friendly. That was really nice. But the point of it is that I was able to hear her no, receive her no, even give her permission to honor her own no that she was expressing through her language, while also saying I want to be able to say yes. That's not a yes. If you want to say something is not you saying something, that's an implication of but there's something there that I can't say yes to. And so I didn't take it personally when she said no. It wasn't oh, what's wrong with me? It wasn't oh, she hates me. It wasn't any of these things, and it definitely would have been. I hope that sentence made sense. But it wasn't any of those things. It was just oh, thank you so much for honoring yourself and for trusting me with your truth enough to say no to me. And, it actually, the fact that this person was able to say no to me made me be able to trust her even more, because of knowing that she feels safe enough to say no to me. And so then knowing that she feels safe enough to say no to me also means that I can trust that when she does say yes to hanging out or talking, that she truly means it, because if she didn't, she would just say no. And so it's any time that I am doubting myself, or any time that I am thinking that I haven't made progress, anytime that I'm doubting my boundaries, or anytime that someone else has a challenging response to my boundaries, which is frequently currently, anytime that any of those happen, it's just a reminder for me of yeah, but I am setting the boundaries. I respect myself enough to say no. And them not being able to be okay with my boundaries, or them taking my boundaries personally when it's not about them at all, it's about me, that's not my problem, that's their problem. And so it's just a wildly different way of relating to this idea, this concept of no, that shows me just how far I've grown. Because younger me never could have even imagined, one, saying no to someone in the first place, or two, being happy and feeling secure that someone else said no to me. Like, those two things were so far off of my radar when I was younger and when I was like deep in my people pleasing wounds, that it just never even like occurred to me as a possibility. It wasn't something that I could even fathom. And now saying no to someone confidently, respectfully, but like in my power about it, is a very regular occurrence. And being grateful that someone is honoring their no and feeling safe enough to tell me no is a regular occurrence. And so that's it. That's all I've got to share today. I hope you got value out of that. If you have any questions about what I shared today, let me know in the comments. I would love for this to be a conversation. I would love for this to, tell me about your experiences. Tell me about how do you feel when you say no to someone. Does that even feel like something that you can do or not, Like, I would love for this to be a conversation. A respectful conversation. But a conversation nonetheless. And I love myself. I love you. I hope that wherever you are nourishing and replenishing yourself and nourishing and replenishing your community with anything extra that you have to give, because you get to be your priority. And I hope that you are also allowing your community to nourish and replenish you as well, because you are worthy. You are enough. And you are loved. I pinky promise. Thank you so much for watching.